morning, everybody. I was reading an article today about what Democrats in Congress want to pass about gun laws. And I saw something in there now where they want to now pass a bill where a person who is convicted of a misdemeanor hate crime can no longer own a gun. I mean, do we really not see where this is going? I mean, this idea, and then on top of that, the involuntary buyback program. I like that, right? Called gun confiscation, right? Hey, we'll buy your gun back, but if you don't sell it back to us, we're going to arrest you and take it. That's not a buyback program. I mean, what's going on? This insanity. I don't get, could you imagine if we just had a government that was focused on, and what are they going to buy it back with? How about a government that was focused on the $20 trillion of the national debt? How about that? How about everybody in the government just worry about getting rid of the $20 trillion debt? That the government blames on the people of the country. But they're the ones that's throwing money around like it grows on trees. Well, it kind of does because the government doesn't have money. When the government says we're going to do something and allot funds, the government has no money. The only money the government gets is from us. So now you're going to sell your gun back forcibly to be paid by you and everybody else, all you pro-gun, 100 million pro-gun people, because you're going to pay your taxes. And by the way, if they do that, they're just going to raise our taxes on something else to make up for the something else. I mean, what is this lunacy? So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Just talk about it? I can tell you this, the way things are going on my Facebook page, we have got to figure out somewhere to go besides Facebook, because even though we're still putting people on, there's a little button on our page called Insights. It shows how many people are joining. Now, it's not 1,000 people a day like it was in January of 2018 when Facebook decided, hey, we don't let people talk about guns have freedom. And they went, but we still put on over 100 people in the last 8 days. But if you go to our page, our likes are still dropping and our followers are still dropping. So I don't know how long our page will be open. They probably don't like it if anybody's paying attention. I don't know why they'd pay attention to an old guy like me that's just talking, but apparently somebody's doing something. I haven't paid $50 of their extortion money to boost a post, and my video reached more people organically than it did with the money I spent. And my numbers are still dropping. So that pretty well shows me that they don't want to do business with me. They don't want me on there. Now, who am I? I'm just somebody that's talking to you. All of us are very significant in the eyes of God. There's no doubt. I don't know what my gift is. I'd love to believe that God is using me as a messenger to reach out to people for the love of this country and freedom. I'd love to believe that. I guess I do believe that. But I don't want to tell you people that. I don't want to tell you that because it's really not me. If my message is getting out to people, it's God's message telling you, listen, there's this thing called freedom. And you better do something about it. I don't understand how people aren't recognizing, especially police chiefs, sheriffs around the country aren't recognizing these red flag laws. It's going to get law enforcement officers killed because it's going to take people that support law enforcement and be mad at law enforcement because they're coming to confiscate guns, which is against the Constitution and is then an unlawful order, which law enforcement officers are not obligated to enforce an unlawful order. Of course, they could still get fired if they have a police chief or a sheriff that doesn't agree with that. Listen, everybody has to get involved. Everybody. All you old retired cops that feel like you have nothing to give, you need to be going to City Hall and the county. You need to be writing letters. You need to be sending emails. You need to get together with your friends. You need to do something. You're not useless, man. It's the biggest shame of law enforcement. You leave there, you get 20, 25, 30 years of experience how to deal with people and deal with violent situations and solve problems. And then if you want to do that anywhere else, you got to start at the bottom all over again. And what a joke. Well, there is something you can do. You can do what I'm doing. We need to get Vantac all around the country, which is just people having a cup of coffee talking about freedoms and rights. But then you got to get your friends together when something's going on and you got to get in City Hall. What's interesting? I tried to do that one time when I was running for sheriff in 2010 here in Montana. and they were passing the law about how boys and girls should share the same bathroom. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go talk. And I went up to Missoula, Montana, which at the time was the second biggest city. I believe it's still the second biggest city in Montana, which is kind of interesting. I think the population is maybe 60,000. And this is the truth. There were busloads of kids from colleges that were shipped in. I'm not kidding. You've heard of that? It's true. And there was a line that was so long that I could never even get in to speak. They went till like 2 in the morning. You see, they did that because they shipped in all these kids who really don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm sorry. I love kids and everything, but you're 19, you're 18, you're 17. What do you know? Probably paid by some billionaire, but they were definitely shipped in from somewhere else, and people that have knowledge didn't even get a chance to go and talk. That's reality. That's where we're at in this country. But you still got to get involved. You still got to do something. And you don't have to be a former law enforcement officer or former military. Listen, all us older people, I'm starting at like 45, 50. You need to get involved. You need to support the cops, especially you retired cops, like retired military, needs to get up and support the soldiers. Soldiers don't make decisions. They just do what they're told. It's what they have to do. At least cops can quit. Soldiers quit. They get, dishonorably discharged and they go to prison or something. I mean, there's so much truth and there's so much disappointment, but I don't know why, because you know what? God's in control. He really is. Somebody shared a picture of starving children in Africa and said, this is why I don't believe there's not a God. You know what I say about that? How much money do you, who doesn't believe in God, how much money did you send to Africa to help feed those children? God did everything that needs to be done. He created us to do something. What are you doing? We are the family of Christ. Us. We are the body. What are we doing? Oh, God, he just needs to go boom and fix everything, make everything perfect. Don't work like that, man. There's a lot going on, but you matter. You, whoever you are sees this video, you matter. And this idea, and these gun people that like, well, come take my guns. That's stupid, man. That's you're buying right into what they want to see. See, people with guns are crazy. And how do sheriffs and law enforcement superiors not recognize that if this all happens, if this gun confiscation, which there is no buyback program that's mandatory, there's no such thing, that's gun confiscation, which is against the Constitution. If that starts happening, don't you think it's interesting that most law enforcement are conservative? Will then be warring with conservatives. So conservatives will be clashing and the liberals will be in the background going, Do you not see that? I mean, wake up, man. And the problem with conservatives, I know because I've been one my whole life, is that we work hard and we mind our own business. But the country is our business. The country is your business. You can't use that. And we're falling back on that now to not get involved. You need to get involved. You need to send emails and write letters and you need to go, and it sucks. And you might have to stand in a long line, but that's what you have to do because the others are doing that. And they're talking about making laws now where you're going to be able to, they want to be able to take your gun if you get convicted of a hate crime. What is a hate crime? Getting in a fist fight with somebody that's another color and someone says, I think that guy did that because it's a hate crime. What is a hate crime? There's hate speech now. That's a crime. So if you say something that falls underneath hate speech like, it's insanity, man. It's insanity, but you can stop it. You and me and millions of others of Americans that love this country and recognize freedoms. We can do it. Are we gonna? Think about it. Have a good morning.